Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Small businesses and families are the force in workforce. It's fantastic that the Chancellor of the Exchequer has recognised this, and it's also not rocket science to know that the country's finances are going to be stretched at a time when we spent 400 billion quid on the pandemic and we are dealing with a war. But Stroud people can see that the budget is dealing with sensible and realistic changes to help on fuel and transport, energy costs, pensions, to ease recruitment pressures for businesses, action on beer duty, potholes on leisure centres, and we've had a huge team effort on this side of the House to make the case for putting parents and the early years workforce front and centre of the budget. I'm not sure the Chancellor or the Prime Minister has had a breakfast or a meeting recently without this being mentioned. They have definitely listened there. Reforming and stimulating the early years and childcare sector is not just some fluffy woman's issue. It helps the country threefold. It gets parents back into work and working at full tilt. It gives businesses the workers that they desperately need at the moment. And the childcare and early years sector is a skilled workforce in itself. These people are looking after the most precious things in our life, and it is really hard graft. I come to work for a rest from my kids. I couldn't do what they do. We have to value them, train them and pay them more. And it's well known in this place that I think there is more work to do on the hourly rates for the childcare sector. But we have made massive strides with the budget that we have just heard. It's a good reminder as well to the country that the free hours are not free, they are paid for by the taxpayer, and we need to use them judiciously. We need to think through who are the best people to use them. I think there should be changes, but again, I think we are getting there. Now, I met with Stroud childminders recently, and they just reaffirmed to me how special these entrepreneurial business people are, mainly women, but business people. They can do an awful lot for families, but they can also do a lot for families with children with special educational needs and disabilities, and I think we should lean on them more. I do want to make a political point now. I think the Chancellor of the Exchequer has blown the Labour Party out of the water on childcare. They have gone on and on about this. I have been shouted down, but they have not come up with a plan. We've had speech after speech. We've had flying around the world using lots of air miles and upsetting the environment, but they have not come up with a plan. And I think they've misled parents and mismanaged expectations. They've talked about universal free childcare. They've talked about having a new system like the rebirth of the NHS as per a Times article, but they've actually behind the scenes realised that is not affordable or realistic or sustainable for the country. And I'm not accepting that they couldn't come up with a plan because they're waiting for the elections and they want to get all the good stuff out. No, we're not taking interventions, but I would love a conversation about this because I would have liked to see the ideas. But unfortunately, the plan has not been forthcoming, and the other plans have been. So we have seen ideas about cars from the opposition, but not about childcare and not for families. We have made not just childcare and the early years sector about infrastructure, as the opposition parties have been asking for. We have made, on this side of the House, parents and the early years workforce recognised as key to growing the country, key to the economy, and that is absolutely integral to making the families of this country feel valued and feel part of getting involved in the success of this country. So I am very grateful for that. In the final seconds, what I would say to the people that worry about there's too much focus on getting parents into work. I hear you. It is right that we should have parental choice, but given the financial constraints on this country and given the workforce issues we have at the moment, it's right that the Chancellor has done what he's done.